Everyone. Welcome to another episode of Negatives, Numbers, and Nonsense. This week, unfortunately, without Tommy, but I'm going to just cover college basketball here for Saturday. Obviously, big day as usual on Saturday. First, by myself, and then TJ is going to join me just like last week, and we're going to break down we're going to like recap the Super Bowl, talk about some of the coaching carousel, get into some Olympic hockey, some golf, maybe live bets for the tournament going on right now. So a lot of stuff to cover this weekend, even though there's no NBA, no NHL going on because of the All-Star break and the Olympic break. So first, while it's just me here before TJ joins, we're going to get into some college basketball picks. Interestingly, kind of not the best slate in terms of like great matchups, even though there's over 100 games and every good team's playing. Kind of all the top teams are playing down in competition. Just to list off a few, I've got Michigan projected by 20 over UCLA, Duke by 12 over Clemson, Arizona by 10.5 over Texas Tech, Houston by 27.5 over Kansas State, Florida by 16 over Kentucky. So a lot of kind of blowout spreads we're looking at here. A couple closer ones, Kansas, Iowa State. I've got a 6.5 point spread, and then Purdue, Iowa, I basically have as a toss up. Same with Gonzaga, Santa Clara, that I'm going to get into a pick for in a little bit. But other than that, I'm not really looking at a lot of close games, close spreads on the top end of the talent level here. Um, and I don't really want to dig too far into the weeds here on the podcast. Like usually when I send out cards, I'll be betting on the most random schools, but like when I'm talking about it here, it's kind of stupid. You guys don't really want to hear about that. I still have a few borderline, like what the fuck is that school plays today, but first off, we're going to get into it with Virginia, Ohio State. We're going to be hitting a bunch of unders today. The model's got unders. The model's been printing on unders lately, and ever since I made some adjustments at the end of February, it's kind of been highlighting unders as the most confident plays. So we're going to stick to that, and we're going to go with the under 147.5 in this Virginia versus Ohio State game. It's going to be a half unit play. I've got this personally projected at about, let's see here. Yeah, I've got it projected at about a 143 total, so 4.5 points below. And I don't really have a super wide band here. It's only a 7 point band from like 139.5 to 146.5. So we're hitting just above that band with this total here. Just kind of a simple model play, half unit. Next, we're going to go to the Tulsa and Wichita State game. So I've got it projected at 145. Another game where we have a tight band of 7 points, 141.5 to 148.5. So one of the reasons this could get burned is potentially free throws, close game, late fouling. That's kind of an avenue here that adds a little risk. So we're going half a unit there as well. And then we're also going half a unit in the UC Riverside, UC San Diego. I promise you, it's the second worst teams we're betting on today. UC Riverside, UC San Diego. Little battle of the UCs tonight. I've got this projected at 138.5, so 5 points below 143.5 total. Range 135 to 142. So again, we're kind of hitting some pretty simple tight tight total ranges where we don't have a huge edge, so there might not, sometimes when your model has a huge edge, you kind of are like, whoa, there might be a red flag there. It's concerning. I looked into these, not really any major red flags, any issues or pace caps, pace floors that I'm worried about with any of these three here. Just they're all kind of minor edges. So we're going half a unit there on the under 143.5 in UC Riverside, UCSD. And then my favorite under today, it's going to be 0.6 units, just zero point 0.1 unit step up from the other three. I just go based on what my model says to do with the sizing. And we've got Florida State at Virginia Tech to go under 157. This is a little bit of a volatile one, but I've loved to target Florida State's unders in certain matchups, and it's been mostly successful outside of one, game that just went crazy against Duke, where Duke didn't play defense. But I've been tracking them all season, and I know that I know which spots they've gone, bust and which spots they've gone boom. And I think this right here adds up perfectly with a spot to for a bust. And I think this game's going to go under, so we're going to play this with 0.6 units. Partially, you just have much better defense. Florida State can't shoot the three at all. Virginia Tech defends the three well, so that's not a recipe for putting up volume and points. There is a little bit of concern with the turnover situation here and getting points in transition and also off of second chances, off of offensive rebounds. But that's also a product of the fact that neither of these teams has shot extremely efficiently and has more size and athleticism. And so I I don't think that when these two match up, it translates the same way that the raw stats and the raw metrics might be baking into this line, is kind of what I'm saying here. And then we're going to go into a few parlays for some of these better games because there's boosts. Obviously, it's Saturday, so there's boosts all over the place. So I'm going to give you guys a few ways to target some of these boosts. Maybe look at some parlay legs to put together. If you're just building your picks or trailing from this, like I like all these picks, roughly speaking. I have an edge on all these picks, roughly speaking. I just only strictly play 0.5 units or more official picks on what my model says to, and then anything else that's like borderline, I try to throw boosts together, throw parlays together just to make it plus EV. So like if you're not as big of a stickler for, oh, I have to make sure that this is plus EV in my mental, whatever my model and brain is saying, like, and you're just doing this more for like action and fun, a lot of people do that. Throw any of these together, like throw them all together for the 10 leg college basketball DK ship. Like it's not like when I give a parlay play, it's more just like how I'm structuring it to maximize EV if given access to the plethora of books. So the first one is UNC minus 6.5. Alt that down a little bit, and then Henry Visar 15 points and 10 plus rebounds. So a little bit of like a jacked up double plus an alt spread. So UNC, obviously I can't fully trust what the model's saying here because it's got them projected by 15 or 16 and the line's 10.5, and that's because Caleb Wilson just went down, and obviously that's huge. So I kind of did a little bit of simple math, decided that it moves the spread about 4.4 points for him to be out, which is pretty fucking massive. I was trying to be kind of aggressive, or like conservative with, maybe taking this bet. And I still, even with him out, you're looking at a 10.5, 11, 12 point projection as the low end of the projection. So not even the mean. The mean projection of Caleb Wilson is healthy is like minus 20 against Pitt here. Like it would be a complete blowout. So I don't think, I think we're getting a little bit of an overreaction to him being out. And when you look at like the player ratings, the Bayesian performance ratings, or Bayesian, I don't fucking know, man. I fucked that up just now. Whatever. If you look at those ratings at Evan Mia and Caleb Wilson's ranked 22nd in the country in terms of impact, and then V-Star's ranked 28th. And so, like, yes, they help unlock each other, but it's not like this is a, one guy and everyone else type of team. I mean, there's depth of talent here, and Pittsburgh's just fucking trash. Like, yeah, and I don't know, unless they come out and just like shoot the lights out and are like, oh, we have to take advantage of this opportunity to play our best basketball of the year and beat the Caleb Wilson list Tar Heels. Like, I just don't see it happening. And I think Visar's the avenue to get it done. Just size, physicality. He's got the 3-point touch as a big, so he can stretch the floor, get down low. I think he's just going to bully Pittsburgh here, and they're going to take care of business. Next up, we got Texas Tech at Arizona. We're going to go under 157.5. And this is getting boosts like at like special game offers at FanDuel and DraftKings. So like the easy way to play this is like I would have just straight bet this for a half unit like regularly with the model it says to, but you might as well just throw the boosts on here. So personally I'm capped at 0.1 units and 0.25 units at DraftKings and FanDuel, but when you boost them each by 30%, you're getting plus 113 at DraftKings, plus 118 at FanDuel, under 157.5. Texas Tech at Arizona. This is another game. This is kind of the marquee game of the night. I've got this projected as an Arizona 10-point win, and I'm looking at 147.5 to 155.5. Sorry, 155 on the projection. So I've got it pretty far below the projection, but I actually adjusted it up manually for some personal like free throws and like physicality factors that I think are going to come into play here. So Still, I'm looking at this as a slight lean, and when you're getting the boost on it, you're getting the EV on it, you're going to be risking 0.35 units to win just about zero point 0.4 units between those two plays if you're capped at 0.35, but I think that's about the right amount of risk anyway here. Um, Finally, we're going to go with a little bit of a long shot parlay, going plus 1,093, boosted up by 15%. It's plus 950 without the boost, three legs, Villanova money line, CSU Northridge money line, Santa Clara money line. I snuck CSU Northridge in there, but you're gonna have to come up with another leg if you don't like it. So yeah, those are the three: Villanova, CSU Northridge, Santa Clara. Some plus odds. Villanova's the favorite. I think Santa Clara's plus 180. Northridge is like plus 152. Nova's like minus 170, minus 180. And then FanDuel's got like the 10 leg parlay build it up. So you just toss a 15% boost on this at DK or FanDuel with three legs, and you get plus 1,093. Like I said at the start, if you want to do what 90% of people do, and I don't advise to, and it's like just throw all 8 picks or whatever I gave out, fucking put them together and get the maximum boost. Like you probably got some EV there. Um, but I personally don't really advise on placing massive legged parlays. Yeah. So that's really it for today's college basketball picks. Just to recap, we got Florida State at Virginia Tech under 157 minus 110 to win zero point 6 units. Virginia at Ohio State under 147.5 minus 108 at DK to win half a unit. Tulsa at Wichita State under 151 at minus 110 at Bet365 to win half a unit. UC Riverside at UC Davis under 143.5 at minus 110 at MGM or Caesars to win half a unit. UNC minus 6.5, Henry VSAR 15 points and 10 rebounds at plus 260 boosted to win 0.65 units. Texas Tech at Arizona under 157.5. Split the risk between DK and FanDuel, boost them up, risk 0.35 units to win 0.4. It's about plus 115 on average. Villanova, CSU Northridge, and Santa Clara money line boosted from 950 to 1,093. Risk 0.05 units, which to me is $5 if you're betting $100 units. So like, don't be putting your like bankroll and shit like this, please. It's just not smart. This is like, these are fun hits to be like, oh, look at me, I hit a plus 1,000, but there was like very little risk involved. That's how you should be treating these type of bets. The edge is really on the unders. Like, I know it sounds crazy, and this is something I'm always pushing is like, yes, you should be betting $55 to win 50 or more on these straights, and you should only be betting like $5 on these parlays. But a lot of people really, really, really highly overrate their tail bets in terms of like, because they want to hit big, they want them to feel like they were worth placing, and it's like, they'll add up over time if you just don't fucking put stupid amounts on them, which will cause emotional responses. So that's my last piece of advice for today before I get TJ on here and we're going to start getting into some NFL recap and some other sports. All right. All right, so now we've got TJ here on the show. We're going to talk some NFL and then get into some Olympic hockey and maybe ask him about some live golf reactions at the end here. But first, we're going to get into just quick recap of the Super Bowl that we talked about last week, had some picks for, and then we're going to go through the NFL coaching carousel because on previous episodes, we broke down a lot of the firings and things going on, and then now there's a lot of spots have been filled, and we want to talk about what we see there. But first, the Super Bowl. Honestly, I forgot the final score off the top of my head. 29-13. Seahawks pretty dominant win. Like it got kind of weird at the end there with some scoring, but like safely say it was a very low scoring game, defensive driven game. Don't really try to do anything out of the ordinary, throw the game away on one play type of football. Seahawks took care of business as you expected. We got the under despite the sweat on the Kenneth Walker touchdown being called back. Otherwise, the picks kind of miss, right? Because it wasn't an offensive game script. Didn't really get any tutties or Hunter Henry. But yeah, I mean, any reactions to this Super Bowl from you?
Other than just it not being a great game for anytime touchdown guys. A lot of picks missed. It is what it is. I didn't have Barner, so
Yeah.
um, unfortunately I wasn't that guy this week.
Barner
But
first tutty, so that was funny to see. Good for him.
yeah, but I mean, I think the script was kind of what we thought was going to happen. under in the first half, hit kind of some garbage time scoring in the end of the game. Actually, a really nice ball from Drake May to Mac Hollins for a touchdown,
Yeah, that was
which
pretty good.
I didn't see coming. But yeah, it was a decent Super Bowl, kind of what we expected to happen, but a little bit of a boring game.
Yeah. Yeah, one interesting thing. I think the one nugget from the betting conversation, or two maybe, you did get into the whole game starts slow, teams try to get on the ground, but the ground defense is too good. Second half higher scoring than the first half. That obviously came through. Didn't bet it personally, but that idea came through. And then I was talking about, and you pushed back in the right way about the Diggs to lead the game in receiving yards. So I was saying like, part of the reason why Diggs kind of was a good bet, or like that idea did come through, and JSN didn't lead the game in receiving yards. And I said, look at Henry, look at Hollins, look at Diggs. It ended up being Hollins at the end of the game there. He led the game in receiving yards. So hopefully someone looked at it and got plus 1100. I doubt it, but that's why you should listen. Don't just listen to like what we said. Don't just listen to the bets that we take. Like listen to what the idea is, and then come up with your own script, because you probably could have hit a plus 1100 while I sat here with a losing ticket. All right, let's get into some NFL coaching talk here. Coaching carousel. I'll start off with
Oh yeah.
Buffalo. I just don't really understand like what the fuck they're doing here. I don't understand how going from Sean McDermott to Joe Brady and two second-tier coordinators from the Broncos is like a more coherent plan than what Sean McDermott's done here. And Sean McDermott doesn't fall under the Mike Tomlin and Harbaugh bucket for me. He doesn't fall under the like, oh, he's come short too many times. We need to pull the plug. Yeah, and then plus the whole GM comments a few weeks ago with Keon Coleman. To me, I just don't think Buffalo's front office knows what they're doing at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying about the GM. Like that whole presser was stupid in my opinion. He went out and said that the only reason they lost was because of that PI call at the end of the game, and then he goes out and fires his head coach. So I mean, that's just a contradiction. Um,
Yep. That's a
not
good
any
point.
great hirings. All they did was promote the guy that everyone expected.
Yep.
But there's a lot better teams to talk about.
Yeah, so you get into the Ravens here. I know that's your team, so
Yeah. So obviously I'm a Ravens fan. I love what they did. I think everyone in Baltimore understands who John Harbaugh was. He got us a Super Bowl. He spent what 18 years in Baltimore, and it was his time. He hadn't gotten the most out of Lamar, and I think a lot of Ravens fans and also Steve Bisciotti wanted to see someone young, new come in, just be fresh. And that's what Jesse Minter is. He was the Chargers defensive coordinator last season. Um, Ravens fans, including myself, are hoping that he's the second coming of Mike McDonald, which would be awesome. We're really excited for someone to bring the best out of these Ravens defensive stars who didn't have a great season last year.
did a really good job in
And
LA too. Like that defense was good,
yeah,
very
yeah.
good.
And I've heard a lot of good feedback from guys like Derwin James, Odafe Owe actually, who went from the Ravens to the
Right.
Chargers.
And had a great like second
And
half of the season for the Chargers.
yeah, awesome. I know he had 3 sacks in their playoff game against the Patriots, so that's cool. In addition to Jesse Minter, the Ravens also hired the Bears offensive coordinator, Declan Doyle. He also coached under Sean Payton, which I find pretty interesting.
How
My
old? So
only
you said he's
worry,
really young, right?
yeah, he's 29 years old. He's the same age as Lamar.
That's pretty awesome. I like
Um,
that. I feel like those guys always
so
are like wizards. Otherwise, why would they get hired? You know what I mean?
yeah, I think that'll be interesting to see what happens. My only concern personally is that he didn't call plays in Chicago.
Yeah.
That was Ben Johnson's
Ben
job.
Johnson, right?
But obviously Ben
But he could
Johnson's
have
a
been
great
highly
coach. And that,
involved there. Who calls plays is really just like it's like who's the president. There's a whole cabinet under them, right? So,
yeah.
right.
And I mean, the Ben Johnson coaching tree might be starting, so that's pretty cool. Um,
The Campbell
Ravens,
coaching tree also like it got that going. Dan Campbell.
yeah,
Continue, sorry.
that's true. Um, Ravens hired Anthony Weaver, who was a defensive line coach for the Ravens for a long time. Hired him as their defensive coordinator for this season. He won't be play calling. Obviously, that's going to be Jesse Minter's job. But I'm excited because Labe just told me that Anthony Weaver apparently had some head coaching looks, which is something to be excited about.
Always want to hear
And in addition, the Ravens have also hired a few other coaches in this new Jesse Minter era. They hired Mike Mickens, who served as the defensive backs coach for Notre Dame for the past 15 years, coaching guys like Kyle Hamilton, Alohi Gilman.
Yeah, I love that.
So
The
I'm sure,
alignment there makes
yeah,
total sense. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure those guys are excited to be reunited once again. And then the Ravens also went out and addressed, I would say, our most significant need, which is O-line and run game help. Um, Going out and getting Dwayne Ledford from the Falcons, who did such a great job with Algier and Bijan Robinson. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about what the Ravens have done.
Yeah, addressing the right parts exactly. I mean, if that O line gets it together, they find some interesting play calling to unlock Lamar, which I'm sure they will. Like the defensive play calling, we have a lot of upside to believe in here, obviously. Like, yeah, I see it. Okay, so moving to
Yeah.
the same division, Pittsburgh, not really excited about anything here. Like, well, I don't know what we're doing. I did agree with the Tomlin firing, but Mike McCarthy is probably the like worst replacement you can make. I don't know. I just don't really see the long-term outlook here. I don't really. You pointed at, and we're probably going to talk about that they have similar kind of kryptonites in their careers so far of like they can't close out like
Yeah.
seasons and go. They've won, but both won Super Bowl.
Yeah, they both won one Super Bowl, but what's interesting to me is Steelers fans always complain about the fact that Mike McDonald, Mike Tomlin can't get it done when they get to the playoffs, but he can do just fine in the regular season. I feel like hiring Mike McCarthy, you're getting essentially the same thing. And with a 44-year-old Aaron Rodgers, I don't know what you're trying to do here. Like, I really don't.
Yeah, and me and Tom talked about this a few weeks ago, but like the reason we agreed with the Harbaugh and the Tomlin hiring, was similar reasons. It was like, hey, it's just kind of come to a little bit of a stall here. Let's start fresh a little bit. The Steelers are more of a rebuild, I think, than the Ravens, but both of them are similar concepts. And the Ravens did that, and that's why we love what's going on there. I mean, I do, and you do. The Steelers
Yeah.
didn't do that. Like they just didn't do that at all. It doesn't really feel like the firing logic doesn't really feel like it lines up with the hire they made. And that's when I don't understand like what's really going on there. That's kind of how I see Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so moving on to the Giants. Obviously, they hired John Harbaugh. I think it's an awesome move for them. Any team would have been lucky to have him. I just think the Ravens, their time was over, so it is what it is. But John Harbaugh is a coach. He's a culture changer. I think that he'll get in there. He'll be a really good leader of men in a super young locker room. And yeah, I have nothing bad to say about this hiring.
Yeah, I think the one thing to say here is like maybe the expectations are getting a little bit pushed forward again. This feels like the same thing that the Jets were a couple years ago. Of like everyone was like, "Oh, they're a playoff team all of a sudden," and then like, what the fuck happened there? I'm not saying that the Giants front office is
I
the
don't.
abomination the Jets are, but like, don't
Yeah.
get ahead of yourselves. 8-9, 7-10 is good here, honestly, for the first year under Harbaugh.
And then you mentioned Raheem Morris. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I don't really have too much more to say that. I'm just kind of excited. I think another is just like what you just said, take a little weight off the guy's shoulders. He was under fire. Tom was talking about the whole Penix situation. It's like a little bit wrong, I think. Maybe he was involved in that. But I think he's a great coach. I don't think he should have been fired. And I will happily pick up a guy who is just a head coach and I think should be a head coach to be a coordinator, just like Solid was. I think the 49ers are doing a great thing here. Again, it's a little concerning. He's probably just going to have a good defensive season with the Niners and then turn into a head coach somewhere next year, but that's how it goes with the coaching carousel. To get into some OC/DC, we got Mike McDaniel and Jonathan Gannon, which is awesome here because like a few weeks ago we talked about how we thought McDaniel should be an offensive coordinator and Gannon should be a defensive coordinator, and now you've got McDaniel being the coordinator for the Chargers and you've got Jonathan Gannon for the Packers, and these are two great situations to walk into. Awesome coaches, head coaches to work under. Any reactions there?
Yeah, I won't lie. I really wanted the Ravens to get Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
He's such a good play caller. Even with the countless injuries that the Dolphins have faced over the past few years, he's still found a way to be a good play caller, and a decent head coach. But same situation as Dable and Raheem Morris. It's great to see one of these head coaches take a coordinator role.
Last name, Stefanski. You seem to be a little bit more
Oh,
positive about this. Sorry, you had one thing to say.
there's also Kubiak. We'll get to him as well.
Oh, I did totally forget Kubiak and Mike LaFleur. Big names. We've covered a lot here, so we can't, talk everything. But yeah, Stefanski to me, I don't know. I don't think he's like what he's Atlanta now. You just had Raheem Morris. I think Raheem Morris is better than Stefanski. I don't understand how you just got mad at your guy for the QB situation and some other things, some clutch play calling and stuff. But you just got mad at your QB situation and then you brought in a guy who couldn't figure out his QB situation, and so I don't know. That's a little bit weird to me. The two big names, Mike LaFleur. I love that hire. I don't have much more to say. I just love like Mike LaFleur. You've got one more. What's the last one?
Yeah, so um, Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator of the Seahawks, who just won the Super Bowl. I thought this would have been a really good hire for any team who was looking for an offensive mind. Not too much to say about him, but I did see him greeting Ashton Genty and Max Crosby and some of those guys, and they seemed really excited to have someone new in the
Dude, they just
building
went
and
from a
not
rotting and
old
dying
man.
Pete Carroll to this. So I'd be
Yeah,
fucking ecstatic if I was them. Yeah.
they're likely gonna draft Fernando Mendoza in the first round. Um, so I think an addition like that, Clint Kubiak's got to be extremely excited to get started with these guys.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot about him there, but definitely not a last name right off type of hiring. That's a big one. But to segue, Seahawks just won the Super Bowl. Clint Kubiak moving coaching positions. Let's look at some quick Super Bowl odds for next season. Get some opening line reactions. I know the first thing that just jumped off the page to me was the Bears are at like 2,500 to 3,000 at various places, which is about in the middle of the pack. And I don't think that the Bears were a great team. There's a lot of underlying bad metrics here. Caleb Williams, he's got some concerns with accuracy, with consistency, but there's also so much potential upside here. Luther Burden, I think, is going to be a 1,500 plus yard receiver in the future. Not this season, but like I think he's going to be an absolute dog. Like I just think this team is in a great position if things click to be not 30 to 1. I mean, they were just close and things only get better. So I don't understand that price. I don't know if you've got the prices in front of you, but obviously the Seahawks are the favorites, the Rams are second, and the Ravens being third kind of didn't make sense to us. Any reactions to the board there?
Yeah, I mean, I'll add a little bit to your Bears take. I'm not personally targeting them as a Super Bowl pick for this year. However, what I can see right now is they're listed as the third team in the NFC North. So when those playoff odds do drop and the division winner bets come out, that's the team I'm taking to win the
Yeah,
NFC
the
North.
hold's not too big, so just make sure the market's not like plus 130, plus 120, plus 140, because then there's like they're just
Yep.
fucking. But yeah, just check the hold. But
Yep.
yeah, I agree there. You like the
And then
Lions, right?
I'll glance over this. Yeah, I'll glance over this quickly. I know they're in the same division, but I also really like the Lions. They were unable to get it done 2 years ago because of a big Aiden Hutchinson injury. And then they were unable to get done last season because of some more defensive injuries. I know when the Ravens faced them in week, I guess 3 or 4, they dog walked us. It wasn't even close. Like they outplayed us in every facet of the game. We'll see what happens to David Montgomery in this offseason, but Jahmyr Gibbs is that guy. Let's be real.
Yeah, I see it. Nothing else totally jumps out to me. You're at the bottom of, I mean, price wise, but this is just Super Bowl. This is the sign of maybe markets to look at in the future. The Panthers are the fifth lowest at plus 15,000. So maybe look at some Panthers other markets once those come out, because that's a sign that they might be getting underrated here. I think this team was underrated coming into this season, and they somehow continue to be. They even had a competitive game against the Rams in the playoffs. Like, yeah, I think they're getting a little bit disrespect here.
Yeah, I don't see where the Panthers' disrespect is coming from. They play in an easy division, so they're going to guarantee themselves a few wins this season. But I don't think you can safely put the Panthers in the same category as the Titans and the Saints, and the Browns. Those are the teams that are
Maybe
around
have
them.
some upside, but yeah, Saints, Cardinals, Dolphins, Jets, Browns. Like, I think the Panthers are better
I
than
don't
all
see
those
it. I
teams.
don't see it.
Yeah.
They made the playoffs. They also, if you don't remember, they beat the Rams in the regular season, which very
Yeah,
few teams
yeah.
could do. And then they almost beat them in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Love that. I think unless you have any final reactions here, I think that's kind of it for me on NFL. Wrap up the NFL
Yeah.
season. All right. So Olympic hockey first game here is at 6 in the morning. I'm not sure if this is gonna come out because I was planning to release at 8 in the morning, but maybe we'll get it out because I've got a pick here we've got some picks here in this Slovakia versus Sweden game. I'll let you take it away because you've got a bunch of angles here on Sweden you think's gonna pile it on.
Yeah, so I really like this Sweden team. The two guys that I'm looking at right now are, at least for betting purposes, Kempe. For some reason, he's plus 180 on FanDuel, and he's, I think, plus 130 on Bet365, which
I
is
like that too.
a huge
180 is great.
difference. So I think there's some EV there, and I really like him to score. So I have risking half a unit on that, and then another guy I'm looking at is Mika Zibanejad. If you look at him, he's on line 3 with Pedersen, but at the same time, he's on power play 1. So I expect him to get into the action if they get on power play. And he's plus 250, a guy that I think is arguably a better goal scorer than Adrian Kempe.
What's his power play
And he's
situation
plus
exactly? He's
250. So
on
I'm putting,
PP1.
yeah, PP1 or 2. He's actually on PP2.
Okay. Still the power play time.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. He's on power play 2, even though he's playing on line 3. Um, but yeah, I think if they get a man advantage in this game, he's going to be one of those guys to score on the power play. Plus 250, and I'm risking 0.75 units. What angles do you have on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I've only got one. I'm just taking a guy that I like, 20-year-old Dalibor Dvorsky on the Slovakia side. In his first Olympics, had a goal and an assist against Finland, I think, and then had an assist in his last game. So he's pointed twice.
Yeah.
It's plus 175 at Bet365. I haven't checked any other books. FanDuel doesn't have points odds, so I think that's the best thing getting plus 175. Play it to win a half unit. The way I'm taking these hockey picks, like there's no precedent for me having edge here. This is totally different than NHL, so I'm just kind of saying everything's to win a half unit is a lean. That's all I've got for that game. I do lean over. I think we both just kind of expect scoring in this game, which is what we're taking scoring environment props. But the minus 125 is a little too juiced for me. I would have rather got it at minus 110, minus 115 at the open. The next early game.
Yeah,
You got anything else you want to add there? Sorry.
the only thing I would say about the over is if you have more time to actually research this game than we do, probably look into the Sweden defense. I think that could be a reason that Slovakia is not able to score in this matchup.
They just control the puck and just kind
So
of
yeah, if you have
limit their
some more
offensive
time,
ability.
yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Okay. And then another one. What is it? Germany versus Latvia right after that, right? Also at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually just I wasn't going to cover this game, but I just kind of pulled together a little stack that I want to hear your opinion on. We're going JJ Paterka and Tim Stutzel for -130. So they both just pointed against Denmark. Stutzel had 2 goals. The first one came on the power play. I'm pretty sure Moritz Seider assisted that on the power play. So I also love a little, maybe look into the Moritz Seider power play points. I haven't looked at the odds and I don't want to go on a tangent here too much and dig into that. But Moritz Seider, maybe 3-leg them all together. But keep it clean. Paterka and Stutzel play on the second line. They play on the power play 1. There should be some scoring here for Germany against a team that just lacks NHL talent. I also love on Latvia's side some of these names I've been targeting in the NHL. Uvis Balinskis, Sandis Vilmanis, Zemgus Girgensons. It's just like you're just taking shots in the dark if you're fucking betting any of them here. There's not really, other than like maybe Vilmanis because he's on the first line at +650 is maybe something to sprinkle, but not really anything else there for me. But I do like -130 for the Paterka and Stutzel to win a half unit. You got anything for that game? You just
Yeah, I didn't hear you say that you were gonna take that, but I kind of love it.
yeah, I just
Just
came up with it.
those two
So you
guys
like that?
being those two guys being premier NHL players and then being on power play 1. I see it as if they can get a bunch of power plays for Team Germany, a bunch of man advantages, why not?
Yeah, and it's like even if they don't come through on the 5v5 second line, the guys they get to correlate with on power play 1 are Draisaitl and Sider from other lines. So it's like
Yeah,
it's only better when you're on power play. You just hope that they touch the puck. So
I
yeah.
guess I guess you're praying that you get sort of a double assist, Draisaitl goal
Yeah, you're
type
just
of
praying there's enough
situation.
scoring that it gets spread around and that this isn't like a 3-1 Draisaitl hat trick win or some bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So, which could happen, obviously, but -130, so like you are paying some juice here. I like it enough. The last game, though, this is the big one. The USA. I don't really have anything for this because I've already got a lot of equity in Brady Tkachuk goals. I have him to lead the Olympics in goals, so I'll let you take it away with whatever you're targeting here.
Yeah, I would say obviously I'm high on Team USA. I think they're the second best team behind Team Canada. Um, what I talked about with Gabe, however, is that even though, let's say, Austin Matthews is starting on the same line as Tage Thompson, um, guys like Austin Matthews might not get 20 minutes of playing time with guys like Tage Thompson.
Yeah, might jumble around a bit.
I feel like there's a high chance that after the first period they see something and they change up the lines for whatever reason. So that's something that I want to look at. That being said, I really like Tage Thompson, goal scorer. He's +145 on FanDuel. His slap shot is top percentile of the NHL.
Yeah, I think I like your overall angle here. I'm probably just gonna stay off of all of the goal scorers because there's such high variance. That's why I prefer the points here. I usually take more long shot goal scorers, and then the Olympics is not really a good spot to take random long shot goal scorers without any data precedent. So yeah, we're just taking 2 different angles here, but
Yeah.
I agree. All right, so we're gonna get into some quick live reactions before TJ gets off here. I'm gonna ask him anything that we're gonna go live bets for this golf AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am that's going on since the second day has settled now. There's no cut, right, in this tournament, so everyone just keeps playing into the next 2 days. And what TJ just explained to me, out of all the golfers in the first 2 days, you play one day on Spyglass and you play one day on Pebble Beach. And then the last 2 days of the tournament are both on Pebble Beach. And so we're going to be looking at maybe some live angles to take here. I know that both of us already have very good cards right now on who we took pre-tournament to be winning. So we're probably going to
Yep.
not get greedy here and target some top fives, top 10 finishes, since we have a reason to believe that some angles might open up here. And I'll let TJ, with his golf expertise, explain why we think there's opportunity.
Yeah, so as Gabe said, they're going to be playing Pebble Beach over the next 2 days. So when you're looking at the leaderboard, I would try to find guys who played better on Pebble Beach rather than looking at where they're currently standing on the leaderboard. And for that reason, I was looking a little bit at who's currently in the top 5. I don't hate a sprinkle on Minwoo Lee to win the tournament live. He shot 7 under today
Plus
on
1600
Pebble
at
Beach.
FanDuel.
Yeah, I love that. I think
Yeah, he shot
Xander Schauffele's another guy I think could make a run. He played really well on Pebble Beach today, shooting 7 under as well.
yeah, he's tied for
And
10th right now. He's in a good spot.
yeah, I'll give a little explanation of the bets I took pre-tournament, just
Okay.
if people want to live bet those guys
Yeah, let's
currently.
hear him.
I took a 2-leg parlay with Tommy Fleetwood and Xander Schauffele, both top 20, and they're currently at -10, tied for 10th, and then Fleetwood is tied for 17th at 9
Yeah,
under.
you're getting minus 109 right
I
now,
also-
so it looks like it's basically just on pace.
Yep. And then I also placed top 5 bets on guys like Goddard, Russell Henley, and Siwoo Kim. Siwoo Kim struggled a little bit on Spyglass today. However, like I said before, I wouldn't count out the guys who played worse on Spyglass just because he shot 5 under on Pebble Beach, and that's the course he's going to play for the next 2 days. So if you see 2 rounds in the 60s, odds are he moves up into that top 10 consideration. So I wouldn't count out Siwoo Kim.
Yeah, and I mean you're getting on the other 2 guys you named. Henley is at plus 460 for top 5. Goddard's at plus 500 for top 5 right now. So maybe some spots to enter in. I know that I think I like Goddard at plus 500.
And those were the live odds. Those were the live odds, correct?
Yeah, top 5 right now. Yep.
Those odds are just slightly shorter than what I got them at prior to the tournament. So I still really like those.
We have reason to believe
as
why
live
we
bets.
like these guys still. So yeah, that makes sense. And then also some other guys in that range that I wanted to ask you about. Spieth plus 550, Fleetwood plus 490 to make runs. Because what you were saying about the course difference here, I was looking at the leaderboards, and I'm not a huge golf guy, but I'm just kind of following you here. And I've got Batia to win already, so I'm in a good position there. And then everyone else played way better on Spyglass than they did on Pebble Beach, except for Hisetsune. And like those are only the top 2 spots. Once you get into Fowler, Burns, Bridgman, Minwoo, even Straka, all these guys played better on Spyglass. So maybe that's part of why I believe maybe there's a opening here. So I think the better idea is look at those 4 guys. They're all around plus 500 for top 5 finishes. Maybe sprinkle 1 or 2. I think that's maybe the logical way to approach this. And then TJ also named some guys that he likes, and I think we've overlapped there a good amount.
Yeah. One guy I'm looking at, which I think everyone should also take a look at, is Rory McIlroy.
Oh, yeah, right.
If
I
you
should be trailing
if
this.
you don't know, he won the tournament last year after being 6 shots back after round 2, 36 holes in. He's currently sitting 6 shots back of Akshay Bhatia. And like Gabe said, a lot of these guys who are close to the top of the leaderboard played Spyglass Hill today and played really well, but kind of struggled on Pebble Beach, which is the course that they're going to be playing the next 2 days. Gabe and I went back and forth over this, but Rory top 5 is currently sitting at plus 320 on FanDuel. And Rory top 5, including ties, is currently sitting at plus 250.
Yeah, I feel like the market's always including ties, so I didn't really understand what's going on there, but I guess other people.
Yeah, so what I kind of explained was that in a situation where the top of the leaderboard is really stacked, as in, imagine the winning score is 20 under par, and there's 15 guys between 18 under par and 20 under par at the end of the tournament. The odds that Rory is in the top 5 and not in a tie, I think, is a lot more than 30%, less than him being in the top 5 and part of a tie. Which is why I think
napkin math right here. So plus 250, plus 250 correlates to 28.6%. Plus 320 correlates to 23.8%. So if you take 23.8 divided by 28.6, you're essentially saying that you need more than 83.2% of the time that Rory is in the top 5 for him to not be tied. So depending on which side of that number you think it is, you should be taking the 320 or the 250, just to put the math in there.
And another market I haven't looked at yet, but is worth potentially putting a small unit on is Rory to win the tournament. Um,
I like it.
he won the tournament last year, back 6 strokes. I don't see why he can't do it again. Golf is a sport where if you're confident, you're going to play well. You probably are going to play well. And if he's able to repeat exactly what he did last year, I don't see why Rory can't make a run, being the number 2 player in the
Yeah, you're
world.
saying he doesn't really have a
And
reason to be not confident here because I mean, he did this from this position just before and he's still Rory. Like, I kind of see, I love this angle here. And personally, having a Batia to win ticket might be smart for me to sprinkle someone else here right now. And I don't totally believe in this
yeah,
Hisatune guy just because I don't know golf too well and he's a new name for me. Before we hop off,
and also
anything you want to talk about? I'm sorry, you're about to say something. I was going to ask you about Hisatune because I don't know anything about him and he's having a great fucking tournament so far.
he's had a great tournament. He also played really well at the Waste Management last week. I think he was in the top 5 when it was all said and done. I think he also held the lead at some point, maybe in the first
Yeah,
round.
I think I saw his name there too.
Uh,
Like he's been popping up. Yeah.
yeah, but the only thing that kind of steers me away is the fact that he's never won on tour. I don't know how he handles pressure, but if you're leading coming into Sunday and you have guys like Rory McIlroy, you have guys like Seb Straka, Minwoo Lee,
Yeah, Straka's right in the mix.
Sam Burns right on your tail. If these guys are right on your
I've been
tail,
there.
you're going to be feeling the pressure on Sunday.
Those guys have
So
been there.
personally, I'm not going to bet on him, but he's been playing great golf.
No, I
So
like to
I
see
definitely see that.
I like to hear that. I was more just kind of highlighting how good he's been, but I like to see some potential regression. I don't think he can shoot 10 under again on Pebble Beach. So again, reason for some spots to open up for other guys. Awesome. Good to have you on today. Break down a lot of different sports there. Unfortunately, we missed Tom because he's got some moving stuff going on. He's moving to a new city, but we will hopefully have him back next week. And I think we got Mongo on next week. So we might have a 4-guy episode next week, which will be pretty fun. And then this week, I think that kind of wraps everything up. Like there's not much else to talk about. Kind of a down week. No NBA, no NHL. So yeah, thank you so much for joining, and that's everything for today. We'll be back next Saturday at around 8 in the morning with more narratives, numbers, and nonsense.